Alright, so crossfading from non-vibrato to vibrato. So usually it's gonna be CC2, most of the libraries. But what if you're using one of these older libraries, or or just you don't have the ability, and you have a non-vibrato patch which sounds and then a vibrato patch that sometimes sounds better, but it's too much vibrato. Alright, so this is how you build a patch so you can crossfade from non-vibrato to vibrato. In this case, I'm going to be using Konica. Usually the note will do like this, a little bit stronger here, like ba, and then it will connect with the next note in the same story, right? Like this. Now, this is kind of like volume or envelope, all right? So da, di, da, do, whatever, right? This is time, and this is volume or envelope. But also in terms of vibrato, usually they'll do something like this. They'll do the note, and as it progresses, they'll start doing a little bit of vibrato. Then the next note, and then as it progresses, a little bit of vibrato, right? But sometimes we've got some samples that are like vibrato, and they start doing a lot of vibrato all the way. It just feels so unrealistic and so annoying. So with HALion, what you can do is, let's go with the oboe. Now, see, sustain and sustain vibrato. So I know that it is there, it's available. I'm gonna get rid of this, and now I'm gonna add the sustain. I'm gonna add this one. It's gonna have the sustain, and this one up here is going to have the sustain vibrato. Now, what I wanna do is I want to crossfade between these layers. Layer fade, boom, and then it shows this thing here, and then you'll assign the controller. The controller for me, I want the breath control, which is this one for me here. And now I'm gonna be switching when I'm down here, it's gonna be vibrato, so it has to be the other way around. It has to be sustained here, and it has to be sustained vibrato here. Down here is sustained. When I'm up here, it's sustained vibrato. So now I can do things like, and then I've got the dynamic here and volume here. So So it's not perfect. I'm not controlling the amount of vibrato. I am not controlling the speed of the vibrato. I don't have control over those things, which a musician would have. But at least I can fade from a non-vibrato layer or sound to a vibrato one. So basically what we've got here, let's focus on these two patches, Spitfire percussion. The important thing here is that the MIDI input is the same for both. So basically, essentially, what this means is that I am loading two patches in Kontakt, and they are in the same MIDI channel. Meaning, when I go here and I select this track, if I hit a note, it goes to both patches. Why would I do that? For the same reason that I did with the vibrato and non-vibrato. In this case, just happens to be that this is piatti hits, and this piatti hits choked. This up here, it's a piatti hit like this, and then you open the piattis and raise them like this to project the sound type of thing. And this other down here is choked. It's like they do like this, and the type of thing. That's what it does. Sometimes I want the long tail, sometimes I want the choked. How did I do that? Again, I load two patches, same MIDI channel. And then in here, what you have to do is first, make sure that this is in red, edit all groups. Then go down here, amplifier, mod. In here, you're gonna add a new external sources MIDI CC. That's all you'll do. And then you'll assign MIDI CC 1 or breath control or whatever it is. For me, I want it mod wheel. So MIDI CC number 1 modulation to control the volume. But that's why we are in the amplifier modulator. We're gonna have a new external sources MIDI CC that's gonna control the volume. And then here, 1 minus 1. That's all you need to do. Right, I'm gonna get rid of it because it's duplicated now. Then the trick is in the other one, in the other patch, you wanna do the same thing but inverted. That is the trick. You're gonna go to this other one, the piatti hits choked, and you're gonna do the same thing. Then you're gonna add modulator, external sources, MIDI CC, 1 minus 1. But you want to hit this invert. And once you hit this invert button, you basically essentially are saying, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's duplicated. But essentially you're saying this modulation fader, this mod wheel or this MIDI CC number 1, I want to control the amplifier volume, but in an inverted way. Meaning when it's at 0, it's actually max
is 127 or max volume, and when it's at 127 or max volume, it actually means 0 minus infinite. And you could do the same thing with vibrato, having two patches. One is vibrato, the other one is no vibrato, and then you assign that at the external source, EDCC, and then maybe breath control, which to me is this third one here, and then you can transition between one patch and the other. Inside one patch, no, you would have to have two patches. In HALion, inside the patch, you still have the ability to have different layers. Another great sampler is the Vienna Instruments. Vienna Instruments, you can create a super complex matrix, and you can do all these things inside the sampler. It's built in. But in Kontakt, you have to have two patches.